What is success? Now, everyone defines success differently. Fame and fortune are the two most common definitions. Uh, History is full of people who were martyrs that I guess they achieved fame, but perhaps more often in their death than in their life. So the question that I have for you is, how do you define success? Was Job successful because he was a very wealthy man? And even though he lost everything, he reacquired even more? Does that make him successful? I don't think so. I think what the Bible's teaching us is that Job was successful because of his faith and trust in God. And perhaps we can go through the Bible and come up with plenty of illustrations of that. Let me ask you a question. What about Peter? When he got out of the boat and walked on the water, was that a success? Sure. But what I want to ask you is, and I know you've heard it mentioned before, is there were at least 11 other men in that boat. The other 11 disciples, and perhaps there were a few more, we don't know. We don't have the manifest. Peter got out and walked on the water. The other 11 did not. Peter defended Jesus with a sword on the night in which Jesus was betrayed, and he cut a servant's ear off. Peter was there in the courtyard as Jesus was put on trial. Even in the business world, somebody with all the right opportunities can go to college, get a good degree, get a good job with a good company, and live a good life. And that's exactly what they're expected to do. Not many want to be a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates or somebody else who ventures outside the box. Because let me tell you, for every Bill Gates out there that made a fortune, well, nobody made as much as him, but okay, you get the idea. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of others who have tried to do exactly what he did, or what Steve Jobs did, or Mark Cuban did. They try and start these companies, and most of them fail. Eleven out of 12 disciples sat in the boat. They were all afraid. The storm's blowing, the waves are crashing over the boat. It's bad news night. Peter got out of the boat and walked on water. The other 11 just sat there, quivering in fear. When it comes to our spiritual lives, the majority of Christians I've met are good Christians. They go to church and sit in the pew, might even help around the church, be a Sunday school teacher. They live a good, morally right life all week long. And they are good people. They are good Christians. But all they're doing is doing what was expected of them. 12 disciples in the boat. Storm's coming. Anybody that could see them, which was nobody probably, but if they could have, they would have expected them to be afraid. They would not have expected somebody to step out of that boat and start walking on water. If you grow up in a poor family where nobody can even afford to buy a house, they don't have very high expectations for you. To overcome that is an accomplishment. To grow up in an upper middle class family where everyone expects you to buy a house and you have a good head start, to buy a house is not a great achievement. In your spiritual life, if you grow up in a good moral Christian home, people expect you to be a good moral Christian person. But if you grow up in a home full of abuse, to become a strong Christian is a much more difficult task. So today I'm talking to the good Christians, and I'm asking you, what's it going to take to get you out of the boat? Stop just trying to be a good Christian and do something great for God. Benjamin Franklin failed many times before he finally invented anything. He didn't call them failures, he called it each one more way I've proven that it won't work that way. Gets me one step closer. As Christians, that's what we should be doing. Stepping outside the boat. Going beyond the expectations of our family, of our church, and even of ourselves.